This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel scum.
Bam! Boom. Well, bam. Here we are again. Star Wars. Wars of Stars.
Episode 11.
Rebel Scum Podcast. I'm Brock. This is James.
Hi. I gotta tell you something before we get started. Rob from Heat O'Red was making fun of me for my top 5 list.
Who was?
Rob, because my list sucked for all the books that I forgot about that you remembered that I was like. Anyway, my top 5 sucked last week. Let's do it.
Okay.
You forget. All right.
Apparently my sister-in-law does listen to our episodes from time to time, and I'm like, why? Why? I mean, thank you for your support. I was just like, but why? Why would you do this to yourself? So yeah.
Don't sell yourself short, Brock. Don't sell yourself short. Just posting on our Patreon page. Thank you on our Patreon. I think the reality is, Brock, is we are 2 fantastic individuals who people gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heidi. Heidi's wishing us a happy birthday.
No, thank you.
Yes. We are twins separated by 3 years at birth.
Yep, that's right. It's crazy. I'm watching on the little YouTube here just to make sure that
I'm on
everything
a massive
still happens.
Massive
delays or whatever. It's just like, I'm like, what does it actually look like? Because it's like you freeze every couple seconds and then you sit all the way back.
All the way back. I'm working on this. I'm working on my setup. I promise. What happened to our names? Anyway, our names are just up. Now they're gone. Anyway, people listening don't care. What have you been up to the last little while?
I've been Star Wars wise? Nothing.
Were you on vacation this whole week or just yesterday?
Was I what?
On vacation this whole week or just yesterday?
Oh, I just took the day off for work for my birthday.
Okay, because I thought I saw posts like a few on the weekend. Maybe it said vacation or I don't know.
Yeah. There's a thing called the weekend, James. People go out.
That's not a vacation. That's a weekend. Heidi, Andrew Fantasia's in New York, living his best New York life. That's where he is.
Nice.
Yeah, he's doing all the tours of all of his favorite New York movie sets, and he's going through them all. So it's good times. I'm really far back. I can zoom in. I don't know what you want me to
do. Sit up like a gentleman.
I can't. This is how the seat is. I'm sitting on the seat. This is uncomfortable. Like this. Like if I do an hour like this. Okay,
Patreon.com. Get James a chair. We're back on chair watch.
Star Wars, nothing really has happened in Star Wars land as of late. Like we're waiting on Ahsoka, and this is like the calm before the Star Wars storm. I will say this. Yeah. I gotta say this. Someone I work with is a massive Star Wars fan, and he buys Star Wars shoes. The DC makes Star Wars shoes.
Oh,
and yesterday. On our birthday, he was the first one I worked to wish me a happy birthday. But he came running. He goes, James, look at these. And he was wearing Beskar sneakers by DC. And if you say that out loud,
sweet.
You're picturing like the nerdiest shoes you could think of. But Brock, they were just like these silvery gray shoes with a nice sheen in the right light. And they had the Mudhorn logo on the back. And then on the front, there was like not Airbrush, but another Star Wars wording font they were lit. I'm not even exaggerating. They were super nice shoes. He has like 20 pairs of these shoes. These ones are new. He has all these Star Wars shoes, and every time he wears when it comes in. But these were so nice, Brock. Like, just I was like, Aaron would actually probably be like, I would buy you those shoes. Like that's how nice they were. You couldn't tell they were Star Wars unless you looked at the back and like really closely. And anyway, I just want to say that off the top. DC, check it. They drop them like every like year or a few months or something because he always picks them up, and I'm like, what? I gotta go on. And by the time I get on, they're sold out of like my size, which is mini. So they might have yours. They probably don't even make your size.
Yeah, it's just like it is interesting, like the amount of like cross pollination of like IP or what is it, like licensing rights that people have. Like I don't know if you've been in any like store. It's like if you can buy a Keith Haring shirt or a Warhol shirt, peanuts you can have anywhere. The what do you call it? The estate of Charles Schultz is selling out that IP constantly. So Star Wars, yeah, because I think like Adidas has some kind of deal with Star Wars as well for a shirt. Because I think like there's like those Chewbacca shoes were Adidas.
Yeah, I remember Adidas had something. I didn't know DC had a thing, and I went to the website. I looked. I'm like, so he told me about this other one he had. It was Dark Trooper ones. They sounded nice.
Yeah.
But online they didn't have. They had a Boba Fett one online. I saw. I wasn't too crazy, but there was too much going on for that one. Like it looked like almost army fatigue, but Boba Fett color. They had like a Luke Skywalker one, which I think he has. It's like a Rebel Alliance. It's crazy. Like I don't know. It's also like so what he does, he wears it to work, but he wears different shoes outside. Like they're only like the indoor shoes because you can't ruin them. It's like he collects them basically, right? So
yeah. That's the thing.
He joked that his closet's getting more full than his wife's full of shoes. It's cool though. I would say honestly, man, Star Wars fans, if you're check them out, DC shoes, I thought they were very nice, and I have no taste, so take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, just looking at them right now, it's like, oh, it's so nice. These slip-ons look cool. I didn't even know DC did slip-ons, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, I get it. Like I'm huge into Vans these days, and I just got a new pair for my birthday, which were like rad. They're like red and black. My wife bought them for me. They have lightning bolts on it, and conveniently we wore it to see the Flash. I was like, oh. That's so funny.
Is that what she posted on Instagram?
Yeah, and it's like she posted because the seat we were sitting in illuminated my shoes, and she panned up to the screen right when it's a shot of Barry West's like feet, and I was like, "That's amazing." So fun little thing.
I do love Vans. Are very comfortable shoes. Why are we talking about shoes? But Vans, I love Vans.
I love Vans. Oh. You have no idea. I have way too many pairs. Anyways, but like, I was thinking about Ahsoka this week because I was like, oh, we don't have anything to August. Right now, though, on Disney Plus, it's Star Wars adjacent because it's Disney Plus. But like, Secret Invasion just came out with everyone's favorite Mace Windu. He is back, baby, and no eye.
I've heard mixed things about. I haven't watched it. I've heard mixed things though.
Mm-hmm. But it was like, oh, cool. This will be the thing we watch, or like the thing on Wednesday we watch, hopefully up and just until Ahsoka. I don't know how many episodes it is, but it should get us through most of July into August, so that's fun. I was going to say something else about it, but I think we're going to talk about it later, so I'll bring that up again. But yeah, it's interesting. The one thing, I liked it. Sorry, that's a terrible review. Though I will say
that was why I brought up that it was getting mixed reviews. I wanted to hear your opinion.
Like, I will say, whenever you watch the first episode, and anyone listening is like, please watch the opening. Like, they have like the opening credits. Like, it opens, like it starts. It's like, is that AI generated? Because I was like, this looks like AI.
They're getting a lot of backlash. They're getting a lot of backlash for it, but apparently the artist sketched what they wanted the AI to create. So there was like an artist who did it.
Interesting.
And AI, which I wasn't against. I haven't seen it. And AI freaks me out. Like it freaks me out. Like it's cool. It's a great tool, but it's also like we're doomed. But I thought for this show, it was like a cheeky thing that they did. Because of what the show's about. So I was kind of okay with it. It's like if a Terminator movie came out and AI did the opening credits for Terminator, I would be like, this is kind of genius. Like you're playing into what you're about. So I'm okay with that. And I love that Heidi and Dale are talking about underwear right now in the chat.
But yeah, I was like, it's like back in like the early 2000s, like where they started talking about like when CG like animated things became a little bit more advanced, a little more prevalent, where it's like, wow, that looks really good, but then like someone like kind of pointed out the uncanny valley of it all, where you're like, it looks too good to the point that your brain's like, that's something's not right about this. So it's like, I think they've like with CG they've blasted past that, but AI is in, or at least AI generated like content is in that uncanny valley right now, where you're like, wow, that looks good, and sometimes like that looks completely wrong. Like it's like
The
when they
problem
don't.
with AI is it takes away from humans doing things. That's the
Oh
problem,
yeah,
right?
no.
Like,
Let's
that's
not worry about the ethical part of it. Let's talk
it's
about
not
like
ethical.
it's like
That's my career. That's your job. Like it's the job. Like it's like I'm worried about my future right now. That's what I'm.
yes. Calm down. We'll join woke culture shortly, but like
I'm not talking woke. I'm talking. I like if you write these things right, like they writes for you. It's scary, man. If you're an animator, it's gonna start animating for you.
The best part of this is my feed. Your feed to me makes you sound like a garbled AI. You like go like that. I can hear you, but it's like so it's like the utter insanity of it. No. Yes, of course. Like the whole it's stealing people's jobs. It's gonna ruin. We all know. Yeah, the
I don't
writers'
care about
strike
other
is
people. I
all
care about
about this.
my people. I care about my job. That's what. Oh man, the
Okay.
AI
Anyways,
AI heard what we're talking
so
about and they froze the
that's the
feed.
point. It's not even remotely there. It's not even remotely there. Ugh, anyways, so it's interesting. Like, are you there again?
Oh, I'm here. I know I lost you for a bit. I was just like trying to figure it out. Oh, good times. Good
There we
times.
go. You're back.
Good times. AI. I don't know.
All right, can you hear me again?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's like people just haven't seen Terminator and they're like, let's
Okay,
do
cool.
this.
Okay, calm down. But anyways, my whole point was like, it is interesting because it's like AI is nowhere near ready. It's like when it's told exactly what to do, it's like it can do some wild stuff, but it's still like they're like, But so going back to like the opening, it's just like it's you can sense it. It's like, oh yeah, there's something not right about it. Like they're like we like being abstract and what have you, but this one was like, oh, so I had no idea it was truly made by AI. That's an interesting move. I like that. Anyways,
I think
you're
it
not
makes sense for the show.
you're not going to get an AI that replaces Kevin Feige or Filoni. If anything, let's just hope for AI gives us quirky little droids that have emotions.
I'm down with that. I don't know. I think AI is cool. Like I think there's a lot of cool things about it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear the video game wars, the console wars? Xbox has like raised the white flag. They're in defeat. They're going to start selling games apparently to PlayStation and Nintendo now. They're like, wah, 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 wah. And I'm like, make them accessible on everything. Let's do it. I want to be able to play all. I want to play it all. But I don't have a next gen console anyway, so whatever.
Yeah. Cool.
Heidi's all for replacing Fantasia with AI.
I'm gonna save my money for a Stream Deck and then just be able to buy all of them anyway.
I said that last week. I've been looking into it. I said, Aaron, give me one for my birthday. She goes, you shut your mouth.
Yeah, it's a good investment. So I don't know, but like, let's be honest. There's always going to be something that like no one thing can always. Apple pulled ahead in the cell phone world, and then like somebody's gonna. Not everyone like it's like there is no big factory in a city anymore. Like there's always competition. So yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like Apple, like Apple did the iPhone. Like now they got the AR VR goggles, which are that's going to be huge in like 10, 20, whatever years. But they did the first one. That'll do what it does. But then other companies will start making them and they'll be more accessible for everybody. And pretty soon, Ready Player One will be reality. It's That's my hope.
Yeah.
I want to live in Ready Player One world. I want to live in like the
No, you
stacks of
don't.
Ohio.
Because
The stacks.
I started reading the sequel to
Oh,
that
right.
book, and God, it was awful. It was just like, you know what? I had a pretty good book, and I'm going to barf for it. I'm going to make the main character as what is it when you unrelatable as possible, and never stop talking about the 80s and 90s. Like, get out of here! Like, get out of
Yeah,
here!
I think Andrew said the same thing. That's the thing. Like Ready Player One for me, like I enjoyed the first book quite a bit. I don't think it was like perfect or anything. I just was like that was a fun read. It was kind of
Yeah, exactly.
like it was like an like never ending story type thing. Where it was like it was fun. I'm like this is good. I never once was like I can't wait to see what happens next. I think that's the biggest problem with that book. Is I was like when it ended, I was like that was fun. I'm gonna move on. And then like the thing is, it sounded like they moved on in a horrible direction from what you and Fantasia both tell me.
It was brutal. It was brutal. But anyways, what are we talking about today in Star Wars?
Okay, so this is apparently false, but the Rey movie that's coming out in 2026, May 2026, is going to be shooting apparently next April. This is the word on next April. They there's like a production website, and they say that they had the synopsis for the movie as well as the title for the movie. And I'm calling bogus on both, and I think they've been since we did the rundown. I think they've both been refuted anyway. But like, it's going to be called New Jedi or Star Wars New Jedi Order. Everything about it just seems like they took the information they had and AI'd it. They put in an AI.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
They came up with it. I saw 15 years later. But look, I do want to talk about this movie. We won't talk about the synopsis because it's bogus.
Sure.
But like, here's the thing: is there's a writer? We just said there's a writer's strike going on right now.
Oh yeah.
They had the script. They had this script that wasn't ready, so they hired a new writer. Then a strike happened like within a month of the new writer. They're going to start shooting in April or March next year, according to Bespin Bulletin, who's pretty accurate on like everything. And they want this to come out in May the following year. I'm just and look, they pulled it off with The Force Awakens, but I still think that because of The Force Awakens, they kind of like they need to plan if they're making. They need to figure out what's going on. It's just like, are they rushing this? Like, and because you and I, we're obviously big Star Wars fans. We're on here. We say this every week, and I want to know what Heidi and Dale think right now too. Is like, do we need this movie rushed on us? Like, do we need it rushed? I think we're at a point now where we all can't wait for a movie, but take your time, get it right, appease us with Acolyte, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew. There's a lot coming out on Disney Plus. A Mandalorian season 4, appease us with that. Take your time. I don't care if it comes out in May 2026. I was into December. You had me at December. Continue that. Push your Taika Waititi movie that's never going to get done to another year and put this one out in December, and then maybe the Filoni one the next December. Like, give them time. Let them do what they do. I don't need this to be rushed if that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's just like when you read it, you're like, one, like, why is this one the first one? It just seems like, especially when they're like, this is the end of the Skywalker saga, and like you've spent a whole movie explaining, like, well, she's a Skywalker now. And it's like, well, then, does the Skywalker saga continue? Like, it's like, don't backtrack on it. Like, we all know it's like, we're gonna end of the Skywalker saga, and then we get a CG Luke Skywalker in Book of Boba Fett. So it's just and Mandalorian. It's just like, we get where it's like Luke is not going to be the main story and what have you. But it's just like, I don't know. I don't believe any of it, of course, because it's like, one, like, New Jedi Order. I'm like, come on.
AI.
Like,
it was 100% AI.
And then, like, and the synopsis is Rey is on a mission to rebuild the Jedi Order, and she has a boy and a girl shows signs of true power. I'm like, it's just like, explain Star Wars in 10 words. Mm-hmm. It's like, or Jedi Order finding younglings. The galaxy hangs in the balance. It's like really that's not a synopsis. That's just like pulling words out of a hat. So I don't know. But I was like, cool, I'll watch that. Like that's the thing. It's like I'm like, you sell me. I'm like, yeah, I'm great. Yeah, so let's do it. But
Well, we don't need to be sold. They have our money. Like my ticket is
yeah,
already booked for the next.
yeah.
Even if the trailers come out, I'm like that doesn't look very good. I'm still like sold on it. Like I'm still gonna
Yeah.
buy those tickets. But I just when the sequel trilogy came out, I think I was in the vast minority. Like I don't think many people were with me. Where I was ready to go with Rey, Finn, and Poe. Before I even knew it was Rey, Finn, and Poe, I was ready to go with the new characters and branch away from the original characters. Like I was okay with if they would have started it and Luke is like, well, you're good to go, and then Rey or whoever was like, all right, let's go, and they did theirs. Like I would have been okay, and then maybe you come back to Luke, whatever. Once I would have been okay with that. Like I'm not someone. I wasn't never clinging to the originals, and I think the prequels are what kind of cleansed me of that. Was I didn't have Luke, Han, and Leia in the prequel. I mean, I did have Luke and Leia in the Revenge of the Sith, I guess, but I didn't have them in the prequels. So I was kind of at that point with Star Wars, kind of like a little disassociated with them. It still needed to have connections to what happened, obviously, but I was okay with going on with new characters. Like I just did that for 3 movies, and I loved them. Like I was good with it. So when they came back and they kind of like were like Han's here, and they put a lot of even though Luke wasn't in it, they put a lot of emphasis on Luke. I was still like fine with it, but I would have been okay honestly if it started off with Luke handing Rey a lightsaber, being like, "This needs to be whatever," and then you just follow Rey. You don't worry about a Skywalker saga because that ended in Jedi, and you just have them do their thing. And I hope what I'm getting at is I hope these new movies, even though it's only one, there probably would be more. I'm hoping with these new movies they do the same type of thing where it's like Rey's there, but maybe it's about the new characters and she just kind of like says, "You're ready to go on this journey now. Go figure it out." And they can always go back to Rey when they need her in the plot. But give me these new characters, make them good, but move on from there. I'm okay, like I'm not. I don't know. I know a lot of YouTube and Twitter. They're like, "I need my Luke," and I love Luke, and I loved him in Mandalorian. Don't get me wrong, but but Mandalorian used him the way that you can use Rey. It's like show up, do your thing, get the hell out of there.
Yeah, like Andor, we have barely any original characters in that. I don't think any. Like I think, like obviously, like Cassian, but like and Saw Gerrera, but like it's just like we've proven we can make a show that doesn't have to have those things. But like as always, sprinkle them in. Spider-Man was a good comic, but it'd really be cool when like Doctor Strange or Daredevil or the Hulk showed up. Like that was extra bang for your buck. So it's like, and the Avengers comic was built around the premise of like, why have one hero when you can have all of them? So it's like, it's like you can have a little smorgasbord and then also do a story. It's just like they should move away from it. Though, like hearing a Rey coming back, because it's like I've said it before, her walking off into the Tatooine sunset with BB-8. I'm like, yes, give me more. Where do they go? I just want to know. So it's like, do we need a movie? I don't know, but like I'll watch it. But it's like, come on, like I don't know. Did we ever have this much of a premise, or not? It's not even a premise, but it's like in other movies, did they let us know this much before they released a trailer? They would have had to, like some kind of like for like you know what I mean?
No, the sequels, no. Solo probably a little. Rogue One, we knew what we knew because of what it was, but before Disney, like the prequels, I think we knew quite a bit beforehand. I think it's good to tell us things. I think like being too secretive it's not good. Do you know what I mean? Because when you're holding too much away, then people go out looking for it. And that's when you start to ruin things. If you give us tidbits just to like satisfy us enough, we're not going to look for I'm not saying you're not, the royal we. We're not going to look for like a lot of leaks and stuff because we have enough information that we're kind of satisfied. When we said, and then when you start to hold things back too, then we start making crap up in our minds, and then whatever we go see can never live up to the BS that we just created because we're far more creative than the creatives that make these things.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just joking. That was sarcasm.
It's like, what makes like, like I think Spider-Verse is still doing well. It's just like, why does it kill it and then Guardians of the Galaxy does okay? Or I don't even know if Guardians did that well or not.
Guardians did well. I mean, Guardians had a few weeks. Guardians is doing better than Spider-Man.
Yeah, and then like the Flash is kind of considered a flop. So
DOA. I can't wait to see it. By the way,
it's a great film.
You said I would love it.
You can't explain it. Like, what makes one person want to see one movie over the other? I don't know. It's like
the Flash, though. I guess we could talk about it. The Flash is DC is very intriguing right now because Black Adam didn't do well. Shazam 2 was a monstrous disaster. I think the Flash is bombing, and people are like, "Well, it's because James Gunn is taking over." It's like, sure. But a lot of people don't know that. Like, people just aren't going to go see these. It's so. Yeah. But then the Batman made $800 million, right? Like, yeah. I just can't. I don't. I mean, I haven't seen anything because I can't. Like, I just haven't. So I'm out of the equation. But I can't understand why people just are like. I mean, Ezra Miller. But a lot of people, like people who aren't into movies, they don't really know about the Ezra Miller stuff.
Exactly.
That's going on. So like, I just can't understand. Like, because the Flash. When I see a trailer for Flash, I'm like. I'm in. Michael Keaton's back as the Flash. Supergirl looks cool, and the Flash is the Flash. Like, I don't. But like, it's like that, and then Shazam and Black Adam, and there's just been this pattern of these DC movies, big time flopping, and it makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, if this was a year ago, it's like, oh, people are still coming back to the theater. But like, Top Gun did really, really well, and they waited. I think is Fast 10 doing good? I don't even know.
No, that one didn't do well.
Yeah, so like, it's just like, I don't know what exactly it is. And none of the movies I listed were like, you gotta see it. No one's waiting for it. I mean, I was waiting for Spider-Verse, but that's a whole other thing. But just like. It's just like, isn't it like the two biggest box office this year are animated? So it's like Spider-Verse and Mario. They did well, right? So it's like,
well, Spider-Verse is still Guardians is doing better than that, but they're both big. Like Mario's is the biggest one. It's the only one that's crossed $1 billion so far, I believe.
Yeah.
I think they're saying Mission Impossible is going to crack $1 billion. I think they're predicting that Tom Cruise is on $1 billion mission. That movie looks crazy, though. I want to see that movie because.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like
The Flash should make $1 billion. Though. It should have come out like a year ago, though, when it was done.
Yeah.
But that movie, there's no excuse for that movie to not make $1 billion.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I don't know. I don't know. I think, we'll see where DC goes in a couple of years because, love them or hate them, they're like, well, James Gunn does deliver pretty well always across the board. So
he has the most successful comic book movie of the last 2 years.
Yeah, and like his track record in that world has been pretty solid. Maybe you don't like the Christmas special, but when you see Guardians 3 and you have watched the Christmas special, you're like, oh yeah, this all actually kind of works together and makes everything relevant.
And I shot them as well. No, I like the Christmas special. I don't know if it's one I'm going to watch every Christmas, but I liked it. It was fun. He's a filmmaker though that I think the Suicide Squad, because I haven't seen Guardians. The Christmas special, but the Suicide Squad was. I love that movie, and every time and just watching it, it's just like he feels like a director who's like really dialed in. Like everything feels perfect. Like it's not perfect, but you know what I mean. Like there's I never feel like he loses it at all. Like even with Starro at the end, a lot of directors would have lost that. Like it would turn into the big CG fest. And you're like, what? I don't know. Like I always think of like Ang Lee's Hulk at the end. You're like, I don't know what's happening. There's like a cloud of like dogs. I don't know. So, like it's
Galactus.
Like he doesn't. Yeah, it's like he doesn't lose it. It's like Starro's there, but and so I just feel like because I haven't seen Guardians yet, but that like he's up here, and then like the Guardians movies were so good, but I think I like the first one better than the second one, but the second one I still feel he probably like handled better than the first one in a lot of ways with a lot of like what was going on.
Yeah.
He's just like grown so much as a filmmaker that I can't wait to see what he's going to do with Superman and how he's going to be the Feige of it all, basically, because I think that's where he's going to really excel.
I think if he's smart, he'll like have some kind of like what would we call it, like plan, obviously story plan, sort of like where he's sort of like pulling all the threads and all that, but then let people do their own voice, because like his voice is very particular. Like Peacemaker is an excellent show. Like I watch clips of the CG Eagle from Peacemaker just because it's so funny. Like it's so good, and like the story makes sense. So it's like no one cared about Peacemaker up until like 4 years ago. So like he makes, and like, you know, Polka Dot Man or whatever, whatever David Dalmatian plays in that show. It's just like, but like I don't know if that tone will go good for a Batman or a Superman. It could work. Arguably it'll probably work. So who knows? And it's like, well, what will this mean in the spectrum of like what people want to see? So like, will people start not caring about Star Wars because now they're like, oh, I'm gonna go see a DC movie. I'm gonna see this. So it's like it's relevant, and like you gotta keep it on your guns. But like that would be very interesting to watch. Like Marvel, I know Star Wars and Marvel are owned by the same company. Star Wars, and DC going toe to toe for films in the theater, especially when you got like you have your Filoni, you have your Favreau, or sorry, not Feige, and you have your James Gunn. Like that would be really interesting to watch them compete for like the best of like the, what would you call them, like the creator. I know Filoni's not really at that level, but let's be honest, like he is the most knowledgeable. He's the most knowledgeable.
No, you're right. No, I'm not disagreeing with that. But I think that's the biggest hindrance that Star Wars has, is there isn't somebody. So you're going to get like just things thrown at the wall. Because James Mangold is working on Star Wars, and he's working on Swamp Thing for DC. For James Gunn, he's working on Swamp Thing. And he just talked about Swamp Thing, and he goes, it's kind of disconnected from the DCU. It's more of a horror movie, and he has to do whatever. So what you was talking about, he kind of said he's doing whatever he really wants with that. But I feel like the Batman movie by Andy Muschietti is going to be more like he's going to get to do his movie, but James Gunn's going to be like, okay, but I want some color in this movie because we're not remaking the Batman. And also he can't kill people and do things like that Ben Affleck did. Like, I think there's going to be like, he's going to have rules that they're going to have to follow. He'll be more like, George Lucas did this before anybody with Star Wars, right? Here's a director for the original trilogy. He's like, here's a director I want. You're going to direct, but really it's me, but you're going to do it. And TV does it all the time. So, but Star Wars doesn't really have that, and they're just kind of throwing things at the wall. So I think that would be a really cool experiment to see based on Feige, Gunn, and smorgasbord of people. Because Kathleen Kennedy isn't that person. Like, she's not. She's just not that person. Like, whether she could be or not, she's not. Because they're trying to figure out. If she was, they wouldn't be trying to figure out movies all the time, right? They would have like the TV side. Favreau and Filoni on the TV side are totally that. They've got Mandalorian, they've got Ahsoka, they've got Boba Fett, they've got Skeleton Crew, probably whatever. Like they had Rangers of the New Republic even counted in there before that went south. But like they had that going, whereas Star Wars as a whole doesn't. So that would be a unique experiment. I would totally pay a part of that.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's should be an interesting couple of years. But like the thing is, it's like Lucasfilm has to stick to their guns. Like I was just thinking when you were talking, it's just like it would be nice to find when in 10 years where no one's in trouble if they say it's like, why did you choose what you chose? Like why Andor? why an Obi-Wan film? Why anything that happened in Mandalorian? You know, like
Andor is the most curious one because it was
Yeah.
$250 million.
yeah,
Like, that's a freaking budget to like waste on Disney Plus.
yeah,
Look, you know what I think about Andor. I don't have to talk about, like, it's
yeah.
amazing and everything. But it was on Disney Plus. Like, they're not going to really make that money back on Andor. It's mind blowing that they did that, and then they can't figure out a movie. If Andor was a movie, I wonder if it would have done well.
I don't know.
I mean,
It would have been a different thing though, too, right? Because it would
exactly.
be too
But I'm just saying
long.
for the budget and everything, it just. But Andor was brilliant, and they, you're right though. Like, it was like a completely different pitch than anything like any other Star Wars, and I think it paid off. But
Yeah,
I just think it just looked so nice, and everything about it was nice to have that, and then it was
Yeah.
also nice to go back to Mandalorian after. I thought, like, it was like, I was like, all right, we had her out of fun. Now give me some popcorn. We're good. All right, I'm ready to go back to Andor now. It was so good though. But the budget, I can't get over how much money that thing cost to make. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody can hate on the volume all you want. That's why they use the volume. That's going to save them $150 to $200 million. Of course you're going to use the volume. Right? Wait, Mandalorian, remember Mandalorian was $10 million an episode? If they would have shot it like Andor, it would have been like $400 million for the whole season.
Yeah.
So you take, hey, Pauline, you got to take it. And I think the volume is brilliant, and I think it's going to get better the more they use it, the more they develop it.
Yeah.
And right now, we've just got to get through it. They still can't run in front of it. You got to stop that. But other than that, I think they're moving on.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but yeah, this going back to our original topic is like, this is BS. Like
AI.
The new Jedi Order. I'm like, really? Especially like Star Wars is known for its like title that you're like, you hear, I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and it's like, what does that mean? And then you watch the movie and you're like, oh.
I remember when the prequel titles came out. I remember Attack of the Clones more than anything because I was like, that is the worst title I've ever heard. But then, because I was like 20, whatever at the time, or was I 20, 19, 20, whatever the hell I was, and I thought that. But then, like, what is like the typical best Star Wars movie? What people consider the best Star Wars movie is Empire Strikes Back, which is kind of equally as cheesy. But we grew up with that title, so we never associated with cheesiness. We were kids, we were born with that. There's a tiny question like that's. Then you compare them, you're like, yeah, they're both kind of lame titles. All right, I'm good with it. Like, it's a Star Wars title. I kind of like it, and I hope whatever this is something cheesy as well. Force Awakens was a bit cheesy. Last Jedi is probably the coolest of all the titles, and then Rise of Skywalker makes no sense. But like, I hope they go back to something cheesy.
Yeah. So,
like, is Rey the Skywalker that rose?
Yeah.
Has anyone figured it out?
Like, you've seen that one meme where they like move all the titles to a different, like it's like
everyone. I get that
sense.
sent to me like at least once a week.
Yeah, and it's like it does make a lot more sense.
I hate admitting it. I hate admitting it, but yeah, it does.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, like
they should. There was like that rumor going around that George Lucas was gonna buy Star Wars back. Did you see that rumor? I think it was like it wasn't when I got back from vacation. I don't know. I saw this rumor. I'm like, what is going on? I think it was right when I got back. There was like a rumor. Somebody probably started on YouTube that George Lucas was going to buy Star Wars back from Disney. And I saw it and I was like, what is this stupidity? But then I thought, wouldn't it be great if they sold it to him? Like, you know how like Roy Halladay was a J for like one day and then retired as a Blizzard?
Yeah.
If they give it to Lucas for like a day and he's special editions all 9 or 11 movies, he just does like special edition for one on all the movies and then gives it right back. I would be totally down for that. Just special edition. Oh, hey Siri. Disruptive Wow, I don't know what I thought I said. Destruction, definition, and meaning. I don't know. Wouldn't that be awesome if Lucas comes in for one day only,
Yeah.
does full he just takes like all of his Lucasfilm crew and is like, we're gonna special edition them all, and he does them. I would watch that.
Oh yeah. I am mad at myself for not going to watch Return of the Jedi in the theater when it came back for the 40th anniversary.
That's the only one I've never seen in the theater.
Yeah, so it's like everyone needs to realize like George Lucas is like highly respected, but like he's the guy, he's the old owner of the auto body shop that sold it to his best worker, or the son that takes it, and he just comes in every morning or sometime in the afternoon, drinks the coffee, just sits and shoots the shit with like the mechanics. Like he's not working and he's not gonna create anything new. Like he's not Stan Lee. You know how, I mean, like Stan Lee, yeah. But like Stan Lee for a large chunk was like, yeah, I'll do stuff. Like, yeah, I'll be here. Blah 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 blah. Like, but like George Lucas, unfortunately, is tapped out. Because like I think I've asked this question before. Why didn't he ever actually make sequel to Return of the Jedi, or a Star Wars movie that happened after Return of the Jedi?
What I believe happened was he wanted to do the prequels, and if you look back, there's all these interviews with Mark Hamill from the '80s talking about it.
Oh, right.
I remember. I don't know if you remember, but CP24 way back in the '90s when they first started, they used to have a show called Rewind. It was aired at like 3 a.m. and I was like a teenager watching it. And I remember this Harrison Ford interview where he was like, I'm going to do another Indiana Jones. And they said, what about Star Wars? He goes, George knows how I feel about Star Wars. I'll never forget. I think that was from like 1984. It's called Rewind. I used to go back.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all these interviews. But I think what actually happened was around the time Disney bought Star Wars, he was planning on doing 3 more. But I don't think he wanted to actually, like, I think because everyone also says that George Lucas hates directing, right?
Yeah.
So I think he was trying to figure out how to get them made without him directing them.
Yeah.
And I think he wrote a treatment, at least one treatment for like 3 movies. And I believe when Disney bought it, they had those treatments, and that's what they were working on. I think the Michael Arndt script was based on those. I believe. I could be wrong. Dale, let me know. I could be wrong, but I think that's what happened. And then they wanted J.J. Abrams, and J.J. Abrams came in and said, I hate the prequels. I will not do George Lucas. Like he didn't want to do those stories. I think that's why he originally said no. And then he basically got carte blanche to do what he wanted. And then I believe that's when Disney stopped even talking to George Lucas. Was at that point. They're like, okay, we've completely moved on. We're doing our own thing. And that's why he did that interview on ABC where he like sold it to white slavers. Because I think there's a little bit bitterness. Like I think he thought he was still going to kind of be along for the ride. And I think he also hired Kathleen Kennedy to stay on because he thought she would be more on his corner than Disney's corner when it came to stuff. But she went with the House of Mouse. Good for her. It's her job. So like, I think that's why, but I think he had plans because he did the interview with James Cameron too, where he talked about how it was going to be all about like midi-chlorians and stuff. And I'm like, people would have hated it. Like, you hate what we got. You pretend that you're going to love what Lucas was going to make, and you would have hated that probably even more.
Yep. Oh my god. Yeah, who can say? I don't know. It's just.
Dude, we lived through the prequels. The people hated the prequels.
Yep. It's yeah. Who knows?
All right, let's go to the odds.
Let's go to the odds.
Let's go to the odds. So
baby, let's go to the odds.
No one gets that. No one listening. Oh, Pauline might. All right, go, Brock.
Never tell me. Never tell me the odds. Brought to you by Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. If you like what we do and you love to hear our garbled voices and our overexposed faces, give us money so we can start to look better and, have great internet and bring you the content that we cut and paste from the internet every single day and become the one of the many few that we love for support. And we shout their names every episode. The following people: Heidi Feder, executive producer; Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Dayton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Stanifor, the Reds, Scott D, Josh Price,
Matt W, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Disney Desi, Charlotte, Denna Nerds, Kayla Davis, and Dale Erdman, who is in the chat right now. Good old
What up?
Dale. Heidi's also in the chat. Shout out. Never Tell Me the Odds. Thank you so much for all your support. Never Tell Me the Odds. Number 1, Ahsoka will drop 2 episodes on August 31st. Will they shock us with a 2-episode premiere of Ahsoka?
Oh, yes. So this is what I was thinking about earlier when I was watching Secret Invasion. Only 1 episode. And I was like, nice. So, like, you're asking is like, sweet. Yeah, I think because Ahsoka's already somewhat established, we're going to go 1. I don't think they're going to do anything crazy like 3 episodes like Andor, which made sense once you watched all of them. But, like, I'm going to go 15%. But I love me a double episode.
I'm going to go 12% because I don't think we're going to get it. I think they would have announced it by now. And maybe it doesn't need it, right? Maybe it is just a solo episode that doesn't need a second one. It does need a second one. Let's be honest. They could drop it all at once and we'd be happy.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to get it. I think Andor was a special case. I think that's because those 3 episodes work so well together.
Yeah.
And if these 2 episodes work well together, but then the third one works even better with it, and then so does the fourth. That doesn't make sense. Like at some point, you've just got to cut it, and I think the longer they have it's going weekly, that's what they're going to want. So I'm going to go 12%.
Nice.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments below or in the live chat. Next on, a new Star Wars show will be announced in the fall. Are we going to hear about a new show this fall randomly, just like a random like, and also coming out next year is going to be Skeleton Hedge Fund.
I'm gonna go 10%. You know, I would love another show, but like I feel like they have so many things they're promising that they might not deliver on that it's just like, what are you doing? Stop it. Like I think I'm pretty sure Lucasfilm's aware that fans are like they say things and then it doesn't happen. So
yeah, but they haven't done that with shows so much.
Rangers of the
no, Rangers, Lando, droids. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, droids. I forgot about droids.
There's like probably half. But we forget about them because they keep coming with what we got though. So at least we don't remember them.
Yeah,
you're right. I'm gonna go full Brock because I think they've got something coming.
Yeah, probably.
They're gonna be like Lando. We're gonna say Lando again. It's a different Lando show. Like, why tell, especially your shareholders, why give them fake promises? We're working on a Lando show. How far along are you? Well, we called Donald Glover. Not about the show. We just called him. Like that's what it felt like. Final odd. Jude Law will appear in an upcoming Star Wars movie. Doesn't necessarily have to be the Dave Filoni one.
Yeah.
Will Jude Law appear in a Star Wars movie?
I wouldn't hate that. I know nothing of his character yet, you know, and we don't know if we even like his character, but Jude Law's a good actor, so why not? So I'm going to go full Brock because it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, I think I don't know what Skeleton Crew is necessarily, and I don't know if his character dies, then definitely they won't be in. But I mean, if it is part of the Mandoverse, which it sounds like it is, how could you not put Jude Law in the movie theater? How could you not? I know Filoni's like, we don't know who's gonna be in it yet. I'm like, yeah, but how do you not? And if he's a Jedi, also, like, how do you not with Thrawn there and all that? Like, I don't know how you don't. So I'm gonna go full Brock as well because it's been a while.
Been a while.
So it's been a while. I had Creed in my head earlier. I haven't listened to Creed in like 25 years. I'm like, what? I was like, why do I have
with one eye open?
Like,
right down,
freaking Creed. I think I got it in my head though because I was listening to like a Scream soundtrack on Spotify or Apple Music or something, and one of the Creed songs came on. I skipped it, but I think that's why I was like, Creed. because they were big. They were big. Like Scream 3 and Creed went together like peanut butter and jam. It was like bam. What if? What? That was a big one. What if? All right, you have news?
I do.
Should I sing the news song like Creed? Hollow news. I can't do it. Hollow news. Hollow news. Hollow news. My mic is on.
Hollow News, the news you need to know right now. With Emmy nomination season coming to a close and Andor eligible for nomination, Diego Luna could become the first Latino nominated for Best Lead Actor in a Drama Series since 1999, and just the second one ever to be recognized in the category. Star Wars' own Jimmy Smits, who is of Puerto Rican heritage, is the only Latino actor who has received Emmy nominations for Best Lead Actor in a Drama Series, which, if you remember back in the day, 1995 to 1998, NYPD Blue, he was nominated for that position. If Emmy nominated, Luna could also be the first ever lead actor in a Star Wars series to do so. His role as Cassian Andor already earned Luna a Golden Globe nomination earlier this year, the first of his career for Best Performance by an Actor in TV Drama Series. He was also the first actor from a Star Wars TV series to be nominated for the Golden Globe, so very, very exciting. Michael Shannon was talking about Star Wars recently. He recently reprised his role in General Zod in The Flash, as we were talking about earlier, is opening about why he turned down a role in the Star Wars franchise back in 2016. Michael Shannon says, "I'm always a bit wary about these giant movies because they take a lot of time and I don't find them very stimulating to work on. I don't ever want to get stuck in a franchise." This is what he told Empire magazine. "I don't find them interesting and I don't want to perpetuate them. If I'm making something, I want there to be some kind of purpose to it. I don't want to make mindless entertainment. The world doesn't need more mindless entertainment. We're inundated with it." And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go to the CG prison that is the Man of Steel. But hey, it worked. In Ahsoka news, apparently Rosario Dawson may or may take this one with a grain of salt, folks. The latest issue of Total Film brings an interview with Ahsoka star Rosario Dawson, who discussed how Ahsoka ties into Star Wars Rebels based on what series creator Dave Filoni shared with her. And here's what she said, again, allegedly. "It's hard sometimes to tell with the things you read online whether that's actual fact or just some fan fiction, but I'm pretty sure Dave Filoni said that this is basically like the 5th season of Rebels. So it felt nice to feel that sort of continuation with these people she's got such a rich history with. You can see that with her mission that she has, going after Thrawn and believing that he's still alive and holding Ezra in her heart because they have a really beautiful, long history as well." So, I mean, we know what's going to happen. So perhaps this is the case, and there definitely is a lot of Rebels characters coming up in Ahsoka. In our final story, let's talk about video games. There's more to the grounded feel of Star Wars than sticking a player in the cockpit of an X-Wing fighter and having them fly through asteroid fields and space station. While this certainly made an incredible experience in Star Wars Squadron, it handles the IP more like a backdrop to decorate their dogfights. The aspect of the original trilogy that really makes the franchise so beloved are more in the build and life on a ship like the Millennium Falcon, which the new game Starfield's NASA punk style flying game seems to nail with intricate detail. The customizable spaceship in Starfield doesn't just give players the ability to slap on whatever weapons they might need on a cookie-cutter fighter. Each module has a specific use that can affect space combat and give players the more options for what to do while living on board the ship with their eclectic crew. This makes for the perfect combination of pieces that all come together to give the experience of the entire Star Wars franchise within gameplay rather than just focus on lightsaber duel to blast. So very exciting, a new game, Starfield, coming out that is more Star Wars than any Star Wars game out right now until, of course, Star Wars Outcasts, I believe it's called, comes out. But if you're jonesing for some dogfighting in space, check out Starfield. It'll release September 6th for PC and Xbox Series X and S. And this has been your Hollow News.
I was thinking about that. I almost put the Michael Shannon thing in one of our topics because I was wondering, I'm like, what role was he up for? Because what I was really thinking, like
or 2015,
it wasn't that long ago.
Oh, I guess. Well, it says he turned something down in 2016, so then it wouldn't have been in production yet.
So
don't
you're
know.
looking at Solo. Like, was it the
Oh yeah,
Beckett?
maybe.
Like, who could it have been? It's strange, but also like you mentioned like the Man of Steel, but he did Man of Steel, and
Yeah,
then he's like, I'm over this. But because don't forget, actors have to do the big movie,
one.
right? They have to
Yeah,
because it's their job, right?
yeah,
You're done. So yeah, maybe that's the thing. Like, because I was thinking if he got like the Rise of Skywalker script and it was what General Pride or whatever, of
mm,
course he would turn that down.
yeah.
Right? Like wouldn't he? Wouldn't he be like? Because I'm like he would be kind of good for that, but I think he'd be like, why would I do this? For I don't know who else he could have been. Like I'm thinking about villains, the Client in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like actors, they all like they read the script and they're like, or they hear the pitch, and if it doesn't speak to them, they make their decision. And it
Yeah.
depends on outside of people that are like, yeah, I'll be in Fast 10. Yes, Vin Diesel, stop calling me. I'll be in Fast 10.
I think it's smart. Like if you can get on that Fast and Furious train, you were freaking
Yeah.
brilliant because that thing
Yeah.
is just like it's the literal money train. Like
Yeah.
it's a literal money train. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you were in unless you're like Ja Rule or Bow Wow, you are coming back 100%. There's no question.
Wait, I think Bow Wow's in the 8th one or 9th. No, 10 is the recent one. So 9. I
Yeah.
feel like for like one scene they bring back the Tokyo Drift guys. I've heard.
Guy,
I've never watched any of
the
them.
main guy is in it. I don't think Bow Wow was though. I'd have to relook at it.
I gotta know.
I was forced to watch it, and Brock, I just watched it in May, and if you ask me what it was about right now, I could not tell you what it was about. I don't know what 9 was about. They went to space for some reason to do something, and I'm not sure what it was. And it was just like, have you seen 9? Did you see?
No,
9?
he is in F9.
Okay,
Like,
so
I
he
think
was
he comes
one.
like a scene. Yeah, for
So
like
yeah, so he's in the
whatever
one.
scene
It makes sense, yeah, because there's a few people from Tokyo Drift that show up.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ja Rule, you got to come back, but like it makes no sense. Just I don't understand what's going on. But good for all those people. Like 100% get in on the Fast and Furious while you can because it's ending in 2 more movies. Also, Brock, Fast and Furious 10, and then Fast and Furious. The next one isn't called 11. It's called Fast and Furious
X2.
10 Part 2. Why? Oh, it's so frustrating.
Who knows?
No one.
Like, I think that series, I know I always talk about like, oh, it won't be fun to hear in like 20 years what was actually going on behind the scenes. Fast and the Furious is definitely gonna have like some tell-all novel, like because who was the director that just left? Justin Lin?
Justin Lin, yeah.
Yeah, like he put it into his. Apparently, I hear about this through a lot of podcasts. It's like he had it worked into his contract that it's like, look, I can walk away from this if things get crazy. So it's sort of like, what did Vin Diesel do exactly?
I have heard from people in the industry, Brock, that have said that Vin Diesel is like the worst person to work with. And these aren't, and I'm not talking about like, I don't know, like James Cameron. Like these are like low level. Well, they're pretty high, but they're not like above the line people. They're people who literally work on movie sets, who have worked on Vin Diesel movies and have said him and Kiefer Sutherland are like the worst people to work with that they've worked with. Apparently, Donald Sutherland, the nicest guy on the planet. Kiefer Sutherland, not so much. But
Those
I don't know.
Nepo babies.
Exactly. But Vin Diesel is like apparently like the biggest everything you can think of. Like everything that you think of apparently is Vin Diesel. He might also be the nicest guy on the planet, but I think his ego really, really gets in the way a lot.
Yeah, if you don't fit his way of thinking, forget about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of people that should stop making content, I saw Avatar: Way of Water. Wow, why does that movie exist? It's just like, it's not terrible, but it's just sort of like 3 hours of like, I like whales. Like, we get it, James Cameron. Stop it. Stop it.
So
and there's 2 more movies coming out.
No, there's 3 more movies.
Oh, 3 more. Yeah, that's right.
I do not like the first one at all. I saw it in the theater once. I saw the first one. I saw the first one in the theater. I thought the 3D was spectacular. I know you don't like 3D. I thought the 3D was spectacular. Sure. could not stand the movie. I was with Rob, and Rob can attest to it. I hated the movie from the minute I got out of the theater. So I was like, I'm not gonna bother with the second one. I will let everybody like Andrew Fantasia loves the Avatar movies. I will let him love the movies. I will say nothing. It's like you with Dune. I'm not gonna talk about it. Like it is what it is. You like what you like. It's fair enough. But this movie made $1 billion. Bro.
Yeah.
It's like the second or third highest grossing movie of all time. Not one person has ever talked about it. No one's ever said it. Like Andrew's like, I really liked it. Like, what else? That's all I'm gonna say. I'm like, what's it? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, I can't figure this. Spider-Verse is kind of similar where no one's talking about it, but that might be for. I don't really know, but it hasn't made $1 billion. Like, people are going back to see this movie like a lot, and no one. It's like liking Creed, like or Nickelback. Like, no one will.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's like somebody likes these movies because they're making a lot of money, and fine, I don't really care. But like, yeah, I'm glad you said that because I have no interest in the second one. No one's talked me into seeing it either. But
it's just like it just happens at you. It's not like it doesn't really change your life. It doesn't. I mean, he's making a universe, so it's like there's more characters and all, and there's a lore to it, I suppose. But it's just like I'm like. The only thing I come away from them, like, I wonder if they'll change the theme park at all. Because I'm like, that'd be kind of cool. They could grow
I dig the theme park.
The theme park is cool. But, like, I mean, I don't know. It is bizarre. I'm like, why did we need this movie? My wife.
It took 13 years.
Hated it. Hated the movie. She,
really
like,
good.
spite watched it with me, paying half attention. And, like, every, like, 10 to 15 minutes, she would just start yelling, why is this movie still happening? Why? So
that was me during the first one.
Yeah.
I honestly, the theme park is great. That's the only saving grace.
Yeah.
It took 13 years to make this movie.
Yeah. But you're right. It is like Nickelback, where it's like, this is content. I don't care for it. I don't know why it exists, but it still exists. It's just like, somebody likes it, I guess. I don't know.
I can tell you right now, if Aaron said, let's watch Avatar 2, I would say, you watch Avatar 2. I'm going to play Nintendo. Like, I would literally, like, not watch it. And usually if she says, let's watch something, and I'm not interested, I'll still sit there and suffer through it. But Avatar, I'd be like, I don't have it. And she wouldn't watch it because it's way too long. Like, it's way too long. All right, top 5?
Top 5. Forgot we haven't done that.
Top 5 Ray moments. This is next week we're gonna do top 5 characters you'd like to go on summer vacation with. That'll be a fun one. Top 5 Ray moments. Number 5, Ray scavenging in an old Star Destroyer.
Oh yeah, that is cool. I'm gonna make that my number 5 too because I forgot about that. Just like that visual. There's so many like good visuals with Daisy Ridley. Like. You could just like have a painting or a print of that. Like, it's so nice.
Yeah, she probably just has like a room filled with pictures of her from like Star Wars. It's all nice. Pictures.
And Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, that's my number 5.
My number 4, fighting Kylo in The Force Awakens.
Ooh.
It's just good. Like, again, it's colorful. Like, I like the blue and the red and the snow, and it was just like, yeah, this is fun.
I don't know if this is a Rey moment. I mean, she does it, but it's like she's not really on screen. But like when the Falcon appears on Crate and shoots 3 TIE fighters out of the sky, and it's just like she's not flying, Chewbacca's flying, and she's shooting, she's gunning. I'm like, just like, yo, she is Han in that moment, right? She is Han at the end of like A New Hope, where it's like,
no, I think she's Luke at the end of New Hope.
No, I meant in more of like she's like she comes out of nowhere and helps save the day at that exact moment, and it just like she's like free will, woo! Let's blow this place. Like I love stuff like that.
That one of my favorite moments of that movie.
Yeah.
My number 3 is fighting Kylo on Death Star 2. Look, if they fight Kylo, it's going to be on the list. So fighting Kylo on Death Star 2.
My number 3 is like, that's garbage. It's like the garbage will do.
What a great moment. That was one of my favorite moments in The Force Awakens is when we get the reveal of like they kind of shoehorn Han and Chewie in there, like, oh yeah, we'll get to them. But like that was like pretty like, oh, look at that. It's on this
Yeah.
planet for some reason. I love that. That's a great moment. Great
Yeah.
moment. My number 2, this one's just to upset everybody. When she says Ray Skywalker, and then puts up the yellow blade lightsaber. Come on.
I was going to say her lightsaber battle on Murder Planet, like you said, like the visuals of that and like that moment where it's like, oh, is she dark side or light side? What's happening? It's just there's a lot of lightsaber battles between her and Kylo that's just like, yeah, like there's something extra going on. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Or at least like if she didn't, but like actually focus on that for a second in a later movie. But I'm going to choose the Praetorian Guard battle with where like I've always said this before. The thing I like about that fight, outside of like it's really fun and there's a lot fast pace, I like how smooth Kylo is with the lightsaber, and she's very like she's still figuring it out, but she's still like skilled in a different way, and I like that juxtaposition there. It looks awesome, right?
Yeah, and that's why it's my number 1.
I figured Praetorian
Don't
Guards.
tell
like,
this. Yeah, no, I was like, every time I do a tough, I'm like, how do I get Praetorian Guards or Ben Quadaneros in here? My number 1 is Praetorian Guards because
my number 1 is her and BB-8 walking into the setting suns of Tatooine, because like in that moment I was like, give me another movie. And it's like it's stuff like that makes movies amazing. Like Terminator 3, not a great movie, but the very, very end, it's like Judgment Day hits, and they're like, I'm alive. I'm like, give me more movie, and then the movie's over. So it's like,
that is a good ending, actually. Yeah.
And like I said earlier in the top 5, if that was a print or a painting, that'd be amazing. I want more BB-8. So whatever required to get more BB-8 would be fantastic.
Top 5. BB-8's cool. I think you're gonna get. I don't know if you'll get. If they make this Rey movie, I guess you'll get more BB-8. Like, how do you not put BB-8 in the Rey? Well, is BB-8 still Poe's or is it Rey? I can't figure it out.
Who knows?
I have no idea. I feel like the droid's cheating on Poe with Rey or vice versa. I don't. It's like BB-8 in the jacket. Poe just can't win.
Astromech droid, white and orange, one of a kind.
Well, because Poe was supposed to die. So I guess they were like, when they wrote it, they were like, well, you just screw over Poe. And then Poe's like, well, I'm still alive. I guess that's my droid. And then BB-8 goes with Finn and Rose to Canto bite me. So I don't know.
Well, like the amount of references to Rey and the Millennium Falcon, like if we get this movie, like how sweet would it be that she somehow has the Millennium Falcon? That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I hope somebody loses a hand. Do you think Chewie's gonna be in the new movie? Like Chewie's just kind of, what if Chewie's like,
and he's
chef?
gray?
He's gray and he's cooking porg. Could you imagine that?
I think I pitched this idea like years ago when we were talking about what would be the next movie after Rise of Skywalker, where like Millennium Falcon just pops up in the new movie, but it's like been abandoned and it's covered in like it's in a jungle covered in like whatever, and they find it and they're like, what is this? And you don't see any of the characters, just some character finds the Millennium Falcon and it just becomes one of those things. Like I love like that is what makes this kind of franchise interesting, where you're like, oh sick. That'd be awesome. Write it.
Imagine, like, what if they brought the Falcon back and it had the thing from Solo when it was like full on the front?
Yeah.
Somebody
Remember
tried to
thing?
like pimp my ride on the Falcon. Somebody
Exhibit comes out of nowhere, and they're like, he has a new hat, like Malibu Stacy. Fantastic.
Are you gonna go see Barbie?
Oh yeah, my wife's already told me we're seeing Barbie.
Oh, you already okay.
We are Team Barbie, not Team Oppenheimer. What a random like combination of movies to compete against each other that like the internet has just glommed onto. Have you seen this?
They make sense because they're different demographics, but also there's 52 weeks in a year.
Like there's just
there's 52 weeks
forget about that, like the actual dropping of those two movies at the same time. But it's just like that the fact that the internet has like it's captured their imagination. I'm like,
Yeah, it has.
wow, nobody expected this.
No, and it's such good publicity for both of them.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
it is brilliant. I gotta be honest with you. I have zero like the Barbie movie. I'm like I don't. It's probably great, because Greta Gerwig's great, but like I see the trailer and I'm like, I feel like I've seen this plot before.
Yeah,
Like,
it's called the Lego Movie.
Yeah, it's a Lego movie. That's what. Yeah, I'm just like I feel like I've seen this before, and I'm not. I mean, my sisters had Barbies, and I never understood Barbie growing up. Like never. I'm like I don't get this, and so I'm not interested in it. And I'm sure it's probably that one's probably gonna make $1 billion. Barbie
Yeah,
is gonna
yeah.
make $1 billion probably if it's good. And the one thing I will say is because at first they're like Aqua Barbie girl will not be in the movie, and I was like, what the? Why would you make a Barbie movie?
Why would you
and not
announce
put
that?
Yeah, and then they later announced that it was going to be in the movie. I probably because of a backlash. Because like, how could you not put that? It'd be like we're making Star Wars but not using John Williams' theme. Not Mandalorian. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I don't know. It's Barbie. You got to have fun with it. I think. Anyway, anything else you want to say?
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Goodbye.
There
I didn't disappear.
you go. The only reason to have a virtual background.
No, I can't. I'm trying to like Army of the Dead right now.
God, this
Evil
feels like
Dead.
early 2021. Or sorry, early 2020.
I'm going to get you, Tauntaun. Tauntaun. What's the interior temperature of a Tauntaun? Lukewarm.
Lukewarm. Boom.
It's a meme from
Boom.
2019. Thanks everybody for watching. It's been a lot of fun. Follow us on Stitcher, LinkedIn. You can follow me on LinkedIn. I updated my demo reel. It's now all animated. I hand drew
Tinder.
it all.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We don't have TikTok yet. I'm surprised you haven't forced TikTok on us.
I've thought about it, but you know what? It's so much work, and I do my pizzas on TikTok, and that's about it.
Apple Podcasts. Is that what the podcast? Apple Podcasts.
We're on all the podcasts. We're on them all.
Stitcher, Google, Spotify, Shopify.
Yep. We're on Shopify. Yep. All right, Brock. Keep going because you were always scum.
Rebel scum.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.